Good morning, dear students of IT 6208, System Integration and Architecture 1. Welcome to our virtual class today. So I am your OLC, Ms. Karen V. Delara from AMA East Rizal Campus. So last meeting, we have discussed the following. What is system integration? So it is a process of bringing together the component subsystems into one system and ensuring that the subsystems function together as a system, and information technology as the process of linking together different computing systems and software applications physically or functionality to act as a coordinated whole. So the different types of system integration methods are as follows. We have the vertical integration, horizontal integration, star integration, and common data format. We have already also discussed the various roles of system integrator and the steps of system integration process, which includes requirements gathering, analysis, architecture design, system integration design, implementation, and maintenance. And then we also discuss the various reasons why integration project fails, and we define what is software deployment. So it is referred to as an activity that make a software system available for use. And we have discussed the various advantages of system deployment and the activities included in software deployment. It consists of release, um, install and activate, deactivate, adapt, update, built-in, version tracking, uninstall, and retire. We also have some of the steps of release management process, which includes plan release, build release, user acceptance testing or UAT, prepare release, and deploy release. So for today, we will be discussing the following topic. So what is Enterprise Application Integration or EAI? What are data silos? How do data silos occur? Why are data silos a problem? Way to break down data silos. Purposes of enterprise application integration. How enterprise application integration has evolved. Characteristics of enterprise application integration, the challenges and types of enterprise application integration, and the benefits of enterprise application integration. So let us first define what is enterprise application integration or EAI. So it is an integration framework composed of a collection of technologies and services which form a middleware or middleware framework to enable integration of systems and applications across an enterprise. It is an integration framework, a middleware made of a collection of technologies and services that allows smooth integration of all such systems and applications throughout the enterprise and enables data sharing and more automation of business processes. It is also the task of uniting the databases and workflows associated with business applications to ensure that the business uses the information consistently and that changes to core business data made by one application are correctly reflected in others. So when your applications operate independently, data silos emerge. So data silo is a situation wherein only one group in an organization can access a set or source of data. This means your employees are missing information that could help them perform their job simply because they can't access it. So as a result, their performance falters and the experiences of your customers and prospects also worsen. This is where enterprise application integration or EAI can help. So with EAI, you can connect your applications and let data move between them, effectively removing existing data silos and preventing any from forming in the future. So what are data silos? So these are a collection of information in an organization that is isolated from and not accessible by other parts of the organization. Removing data silos can help you get the right information at the right time so you can make good decisions. And you can also save money by reducing storage costs for duplicate information. It is also a repository of fixed data that remains under the control of one department and is isolated from the rest of the organization, much like grain in a farm. Silo is closed off from outside element. Data silos can have technical or cultural roots. So data silos tend to arise naturally in large organizations because each organizational unit has different goals, priorities, and responsibilities. Data silos can occur also when departments compete with each other instead of working with each other towards common business goals. Information silos are generally viewed as a hindrance to effective business operations, and organizations are increasingly trying to break data silos that are considered a barrier to collaboration, accessibility, and efficiency. So data silos happen for three common reasons. So we have the company culture, organizational structures, and technology. So for company culture, often departments are siloed from each other, especially in larger companies. Sometimes this occurs because there is internal competition, but often it happens because one department sees itself as separate from another and doesn't consider where information should be shared. For organizational structures, unless an organization specifically works to integrate different departments, it's easy to build layers of hierarchy and management that deter departments from sharing information. For technology, it's not uncommon for different departments to use different technology, making it difficult for the department to share common information. So for example, maybe the sales team uses Salesforce, but the marketing team doesn't have this tool. Yet, it might contain valuable information that the marketing team could use. An IT survey showed that most companies have between 1 to 200 applications for their different departments. Consider how unwieldy it can be to find information when you have so many different sources. Data silos are a problem for three primary reasons. The first one is inability to get a comprehensive view of data. If your data is siloed, relevant connection between siloed data can easily be missed. Suppose, for example, the marketing team has excellent data on which marketing campaigns attracted a lot of attention in a particular geography, whereas the sales team has information about sales in that same geography. What if you could bring that information together? Imagine how much clearer the relationship between marketing campaign and sales would be. The second one is wasted resources. Consider what happens if you have a database with customer information for the marketing team and a separate one for the sales team. Much data is duplicated between these departments. It costs money to store all this data, and the more data a company stores, the less the organization can spend on other requirements. And number three is inconsistent data. So in data silos, it's common to store the same information in different places. When this happens, there is a high chance that you will introduce data inconsistencies. You might update a customer address in one place and not another. Or you might introduce a prototype or a typo in one set of information. When the data is in one place, you have a much better chance of maintaining the correct information. The best way to remove data silos is to consolidate your data into a data warehouse. Here are a few different methods a company might use to get data into a data warehouse. The first one is scripting. So some companies uses scripts written in SQL or Python to write the code to extract the data and move it to a central location. This can be time consuming, however, and it also requires a great deal of expertise. The second one is on-premise ETL tools. ETL stands for extract, transform, and load. These are the tools that can take much of the pain out of moving data by automating the process. They extract the data from your source, perform transformations, and then load the data to the target data warehouse. So these tools are typically hosted on your company's site. The third one is cloud-based ETL tools. These ETL tools are hosted in the cloud where you can leverage the expertise and infrastructure of the vendor. They are commonly used when a company decides to move siloed data to a cloud data warehouse. So to simply this process, most companies move their data from the various systems into a data warehouse. So a data warehouse is a repository for all data collected by an enterprise's operational systems. Data warehouses are optimized for access and analysis rather than transactional processing, and they are designed to help management get a 360 view of their company's data. Now let's proceed with the different purposes of enterprise application integration. So the first one is data integration. Ensures that information in multiple systems is kept consistent. This is also known as Enterprise Information Integration or EII. Integration involves combining data residing in different sources and providing users with a unified view of them. The second purpose is vendor independence. Extracts business policies or rules from applications and implements them in the EAI system so that even if one of the business applications is replaced with a different vendor's application, the business rules do not have to be re-implemented. So instead of customizing an application with business rules, the organization instead customizes its EAI system with business rules and policies being implemented, making it easier to swap out enterprise applications and choose new vendors when necessary. The third one is common facade or interfacing. An EAI system can front-end a cluster of applications, providing a single consistent access interface to these applications and shielding users from having to learn to use different software packages. So EAI creates an opportunity for common facades or common interfaces that can access multiple applications. Instead of learning 20 different user interfaces for 20 different applications, EAI might allow employees of an organization to learn a single graphical user interface or GUI that connects seamlessly with existing applications, databases, and other enterprise tools. This streamlines administrative processes and helps employees be more productive using enterprise applications. So to better understand enterprise application integration, we can look at how it's changed over time. So here are the 5 key stages of its journey. So the first one is point-to-point integration. So this model uses a script to remove data from an application. It then edits the data structure and formatting to meet the requirements of the app it's moving to. Once this is completed, the data is moved over. So this process might work okay for two applications, but as you start to connect more, it quickly becomes too time consuming to program and maintain. It can also take a while for the data to move between your apps, which in many cases adversely affects the experiences of your employees, customers, and prospects. The second one is hub and spoke integration. So with hub and spoke, you can use a centralized repository to integrate your applications, reformat your data, and decide where it goes. The system can move data between applications faster than point to point, but it still requires support from your developers as they're the ones who ultimately have to move the data by using runtime components. So this integration removes the need to program individual dependencies between each pair of applications. But developers must still use runtime components to manually route data to the correct application. The third one is the bus integration. So unlike point-to-point or hub and spoke, the bus integration model doesn't require manual work from your team. The model only requires that your apps follow its standards. So the bus integration represents an evolution of the hub and spoke model that runs without human interference. So bus integration uses a defined set of standards to govern the flow of data between applications, enabling any application to transmit or receive data according to the applied business rules and policies. Next is the middleware. This software falls between your applications and your operating systems, and it allows you to move data across applications without any manual effort. It can be used in a variety of forms such as database middleware, message oriented middleware, or application server middleware. So the form an organization chooses can depend on its requirements. So the middleware tools support communication and data transfer between a distributed group of applications, making it easy to consolidate database entries and synchronize data across disparate systems. The last one is the microservices. Using microservices, organizations can capture their data in cloud and then share it with the appropriate applications through their APIs. Microservices can also move data through on-premises software. So microservice architecture is the current standard for enterprise applications that are deployed in the cloud. Enterprises that run their applications in the cloud can capture data from each deployed microservice and route that data to the required destination and databases using APIs. So now let's proceed with a list of the characteristics of EAI. So we have EAI is defined as the unrestricted sharing of data and business processes among any connected applications and data sources in the enterprise. EAI, when used effectively, allows integration without any major changes to current infrastructure. It also extends middleware capabilities to cope with application integration. It uses application logic layers of different middleware systems as building blocks. It also keeps track of information related to the operations of the enterprise, example, inventory, sales ledger, and execute the core processes that create and manipulate this information. Now let's proceed with the challenges of EAI. So the hub and spoke architecture concentrates all of the processing into a single server or cluster. Often became hard to maintain and evolve efficiently. Third one, hard to extend to integrate third parties on other technology platforms. Next, the canonical data model introduces an intermediary step. Next, added complexity and additional processing effort. Number 6, EAI products typified. 7, heavy customization required to implement the solution. Number 8, lock-in, often built using proprietary technology and required specialist skills. Next is lack of flexibility, hard to extend or to integrate with other EAI products. And the last one requires organization to be EAI ready. So EAI can be done at different levels depending on many factors including company size and industry, integration and or project complexity and budget. So there are four main integration levels. So we have the data level integration, application interface level, the method level, and the user interface level. So let's define and discuss the advantages and drawbacks of each level. So the first one is data level integration. Data level EAI is a database-centric approach that consists of extracting data from one database and updating it in another. Sometimes the extracted data can be transformed before entering it into the target database. For example, to apply specific business rules. Data level integration is commonly done through ETL or extract, transform, load tools that can extract, transform, cleanse, and load data from various data sources to a common enterprise data repository or a data warehouse or data repositories tuned to serve different business needs or data marts. So the main benefits of this approach are its low cost and low risk profile because we do not make any modification to the existing code of the applications. We do not need to incur the expenses related to developing, to conducting various testing, and deploying new versions of the applications. The main drawbacks of this approach are the huge quantity of databases and tables that are generated, the need for the database designer to understand the data that is being moved, and the associated business rules. The second one is application interface level. This EAI level of integration consists of leveraging the interfaces provided by custom or packaged applications to access business processes and simple information. Usually, this kind of integration is done in three-step process. First is extract the information from one application through a provided application interface. Second one is to convert the data in a format understandable by the target applications. And third process is transmit the information to the target application. So the most commonly used approach to implement this kind of integration is called message broker. It is an approach which standardizes and controls the flow of information through a bus or a hub framework. But with the increasing popularity of web services, legacy and packaged applications are starting to use them to expose their business features. The availability of these business functions as reusable services causes the increased use of service-oriented architectures or SOA as an alternative to message broker. The main benefits of this approach are the fact that the interfacing between the different applications is relatively easy due to the fact that the application interfaces are provided by applications. A negative aspect of this approach is the cost of the message broker technology. The third type of EAI is the method level. This integration is similar to application interface level, but at a lower level of granularity. The idea here is not to share business functions, but to share directly the different methods used to compose a given business function. All other enterprise applications needing to implement the same methods can use them without having to rewrite it. Even if this integration level can be done with a lot of technologies such as Java, RMI, Corba, DCOM, the emerging trend is implementing this approach is to use web services as a way to share the methods. The ability to share methods and to reuse business logic make this approach very suited for EAI. But the downside to this approach is that it is also the more invasive approach because it supposes the modification of existing applications to allow the sharing at such a low level. The fourth type of EAI is the user interface level. It is commonly called refacing and consists of replacing existing text-based user interfaces of legacy systems and graphical interfaces of PCs by a standardized interface, typically browser-based. Enterprise business portals are an emerging solution to this kind of integration and consists of federating the presentation of multiple applications into one customizable browser-based interface. This kind of integration is less expensive than other approaches as the code of the existing application is not modified. However, this approach is also less flexible for the same reason. So to sum up the four types of EAI, data level is process, techniques, and technology of moving data between data stores. Application interface level is leveraging of interfaces exposed by custom or packaged applications. While the method level is sharing of the business logic and user interface level is packaging applications by using their user interface as a common point of integration. So now let's discuss the relationship of EAI and middleware. In EAI, middleware technology is just used as a mechanism to move information and share business processes from one application to another. The middleware hides the complexities of the communication mechanism between source and target systems. This allows the developers to concentrate on dealing with the APIs or application programming interfaces of each system. While the middleware handles the passing of the information between the two systems. The same middleware API can be used by different applications running on different platforms. So as an underlying technology of EAI, middleware can be used at any level of integration, even at user interface level, because business portals can be considered as a kind of middleware. However, the most common use of middleware technology is with message broker at application interface level. Now, how about EAI and XML? The Extensible Markup Language or XML standard is a text-based markup language specification from the World Wide Web Consortium, W3C, whose objective is to define portable structured data. Because XML is simple and becoming a widely used interchange format, it is ideal as EAI message format and protocol. XML can be used with every integration level. except perhaps at user interface level. It can be used at data level as common data exchange format, at application interface level as messaging format, and or protocol within a message broker. Or it can also be in service-oriented architectures or SOA as support for web services. Because web services are built using extensible markup language, and it also has a place at method level integration. So as an enterprise organization deploys more types of applications, the presence and impact of information silos within the business can increase exponentially. So some of the most common enterprise application type includes the following. So the first one is accounting system. So this is the system used to manage the income, expenses, and other financial activities of a business. Next, we have the automated billing systems, which enable to create invoices automatically at scheduled period. With billing system, it can automatically issue refunds. Business analytics and intelligence platform enable enterprises to build business intelligence applications by providing capabilities such as online analytical processing, information delivery such as reports and dashboards, and platform integration. Next is the BCP or Business Continuity Planning. The process involved in creating a system of prevention and recovery from potential threats to a company. Next, we have the CMS or Content Management System, a computer software used to manage the creation and modification of digital content. Next, we have the Customer Relationship Management or CRM tools, a technology for managing all your company's relationships and interactions with customers and potential customers. Next, we have the email marketing platform. Can make the customers your email list aware of new products, discounts, and other services that they are offering. Next, we have the ERP or Enterprise Resource Planning. It is the ability to deliver an integrated package of business applications. ERP tools share a common process and data model covering broad and deep operational end-to-end processes, such as those found in finance, HR or human resources, distribution, manufacturing, service, and supply chain. Now let's proceed with enterprise messaging systems. It is an enterprise grade system that enables program-to-program messaging between applications and system throughout an enterprise. Next is we have the payment processing. It describes the process and service that automates payment transactions between the shopper and the merchant. Next is the service desk application. So a ticket management system which allows enterprises to implement strong and effective workflows for internal and customer-facing support departments. So these are the common types of enterprise applications. Now let's proceed with the benefits of EAI. So number one is improvement in management and sharing of data. EAI increases interoperability between the several departments of an organization. An agile enterprise application software solution enables access to entire information that is gathered by business applications, eradicating data processing responsibilities. Second, the benefit is automation of the workflow. So for instance, you can utilize the customer relationship management system, wherein customer data to start an email marketing campaign and create reports to assess its efficiency. The EAI platform improves business processes as well as enhances transparency of financial flow. Third benefit is flexibility in IT infrastructure. The integration of software allows organizations to develop IT facilities easily and respond timely to the growing expectations of the customers. EAI streamlines the business process, applying better functionality in linking information as well as the functionality of many applications into an easy to use interfaces. The fourth one is creating new opportunities. Enterprise applications can help companies address shifts in the market, reputation management issues, supply chain disruption issues, and more, all from a single interface. The fifth benefit is increasing efficiency. EAI allows organization to realize the holistic advantages of their investments. EAI enhances organizational proficiencies and also improve an individual's performance with several features. The sixth benefit is control and connection of your company. This is due to the fact that information management is improved since it offers an overall vision, making it possible to have full knowledge of what happened. Seven, it simplifies business processes. EAI technologies stand out by streamlining and simplifying all company processes. It does not matter if the IT structure is complex, as there are multiple applications that are asynchronous with each other. The eighth benefit is it reduces costs and investment. A clear example of this is the integration of old and new software. Since there is no need to delete the former, there are fewer investments. Ninth, it encourages information exchange. When the different parts of a company are integrated, as well as their respective applications and IT structure, the information exchange is much greater. All employees of the company can have access to the data and the software used. This prevents duplication of information, so the structure works better and with much more efficiency. Next is it lowers time and efforts. The integration of business software systems allows for all business information to be concentrated, making the work of any employee much simpler. This results in a reduction of the necessary time and efforts to perform a certain task. Number 11 is increase of advantages and opportunity. It is possible to enhance competitive advantages and opportunities compared to the different companies functioning as competition. And the last benefit is adaptation to advanced processes. So with EAI, it is much easier to track and analyze various businesses processes so as to understand how they work and how to control them. So these are the various benefits of EAI. So to sum up our discussion today, so we have defined what is Enterprise Application Integration or EAI. We also define what are data silos. How do data silos occur? So we have three reasons. So we have the company culture, organizational structures, and technology. We also tackled the why are data silos a problem. So inability to get a comprehensive view of data, that's one. Number two is wasted resources. Number three is inconsistent data. And then we also have some ways to break down data silos. We have scripting, on-premise ETL tools or extract, transform, load tools, cloud-based ETL tools. We also discussed the various purposes of enterprise application integration such as data integration, vendor independence, common facade or interfacing. And how enterprise application integration has evolved. So we have the point-to-point integration, hub and spoke integration, bus integration, middleware, and microservices. We also discussed the different characteristics of EAI as well as its challenges to businesses. And then the four types of EAI: data level integration, application interface level, the method level, and user interface level. And we also discussed the relationship of EAI and middleware, EAI and XML or extensible markup language. And then we have provided some of the most common enterprise application types. So we have accounting systems, automated billing systems, business analytics and intelligence platform, the business continuity planning or BCP, content management system, customer relationship management tools or CRM, email marketing platform, enterprise resource planning or ERP, enterprise messaging system, payment processing, and service desk applications. Then we also discussed the various benefits of EAI. So enterprise application integration represents a new paradigm in the use of technologies and services. So whether small, medium, or large companies, they use to facilitate their entire business process since it allows them to integrate everything from software applications to hardware systems. So those are the basic concepts of enterprise application integration. So thank you for listening and for attending our virtual class. So again, if you have any questions, please send a message through our LMS chat box or you may email me at kvdelara@amais.edu.ph. So do not hesitate to ask questions or any clarification with regards to our lessons and our quizzes or exams and other matters about LMS.